Good evening, everyone. I'm Vaishnavi Vaiti from Kirin Advisors. Welcome to the virtual roadshow of Positron Energy Limited. Today, we will provide a brief overview about Positron Energy Limited and insights into the gas and oil industry. Positron Energy Limited specializes in management and technical advisory services for oil and gas industry, offering end-to-end gas distribution solutions to the industry across India. Positron services encompass commercial and financial advisory, project management, and O&M services. Positron Energy leverages over 45 years of combined experience to deliver comprehensive solutions for gas distribution across India. From management team, we have Mr. Manav Berry, Chairman and Managing Director. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. Managing Director is Mr. Rajiv Menon. I am
Mr.
the
Rajiv Menon, Managing Director.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. Mr. Sujit, Whole-Time Director and CFO.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. We also have CS Gagan Kohli, Vice President from Beeline Capital Advisors Private Limited. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Good evening, ma'am. Along with me, CA Bhavya is there. He's from our finance head. He's looking after the whole IPO, and so Bhavya is also there with me.
Okay, sir. Welcome. Now we will play a short AV about the company. Let's start.
Energy Limited, a prominent player in India's oil and gas sector, was founded by industry veterans Sujit K. Sugadan, Rajiv Menon and Manav Bahari. Under the leadership of this experienced team, the company drives innovation and customer satisfaction through strategic vision and execution. Our expertise spans management and technical advisory services, gas aggregation and sales. We offer comprehensive project management, operations and maintenance, and technical consultancy services. In collaboration with global leaders like ICOM North America, we implement dual-fuel LNG systems to promote environmental sustainability. With a significant gas aggregation business volume of approximately 35 MMSCM and a daily portfolio of 4,000 to 5,000 MMBTU of gas, we excel in natural gas distribution across India through various cross-country common carrier pipelines for efficient and reliable natural gas supply solutions. Positron Energy is committed to promote the environmental advantages of natural gas over traditional fuels and emphasize its cleanliness, lower greenhouse gas emissions and reduced environmental impact to promote sustainable energy solutions for its end customers. With projects across India and ventures in Africa, we are positioned for global growth. Positron Energy Limited, where innovation meets expertise to fuel the future of energy.
Thank you for watching. Now I hand over to Rajiv sir to give us more insights about the company and its future plans. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good evening to everyone. Positron Energy was founded in 2008 for giving solutions to the city gas distribution network. It was formed by my colleague Manav, Sujit, and myself. In 2008, we thought to give this industry is growing because in 2007 the regulatory board brought a challenge to the industry wherein the natural gas sector was brought under regulation. So in 2008 we started with management advisory wherein we roped in private players for coming up into CGD business, that is city gas distribution business. So we take a pride in that bringing the largest city gas, private city gas player by our advisory, management advisory to be a city gas player. And at the same time, in 2009, we had an opportunity to offtake gas from Jharkhand, Bokaro, that is coal bed methane gas, for because there was no pipeline connectivity. So we have developed a unique technology of taking those gas in a processed and compressed form in a 40 feet long tube trailers and giving gas to the industries, which were large steel industries, private and PSU both. So we were the first to implement the gas usage in the blast furnaces of those industries and many other applications. So slowly and steadily, as the industry was growing due to regulation and because of more infrastructure coming up in place, so the management advisory slowly started shifting from management advisory to technical advisory, where we started project management consulting and even the execution of the projects, which is last mile connectivity up to the burner tip of the households and the factories and the industries. And during the same period, we were gathering our credentials for natural gas as an aggregators, starting from 100 MMBTU to 200 MMBTU, 300 MMBTU, and so on and so far. So that last year we did, around 4,000 to 5,000 MMBTU we have RKT now. So selling gas as an aggregators to large industries, to ceramic plants, to glass industries, to power plants, and city gas distribution. During the same course, we have also developed a product line which is called dual fuel LNG kits, which will be used for the long haul trucks and buses, which will be running on freeways. For this is the first time in the country, we partnered with ICOM North America, an exclusive partnership for India, wherein diesel and LNG can be both fueled together for running these trucks, wherein taking out the hindrance by CNG, because you need to carry large CNG volumes, that can be taken care by LNG. So we have got necessary approvals. A couple of them left. So in a month or two, we will be clearing with that also. And in this entire business vertical, my colleague Manav takes care of total gas aggregation business. That's from the sourcing part of it till the end consumer and the contracting and the daily operations about it. So the entire 5,000 MMBTU, 4,000 MMBTU is taken care by Manav from end to end, and which is poised to grow because that is our 75 to 85% of our business line. And the technical advisory business, we started off with a major chunk. Now it is like 15 to 20% of our business, but it's an high growth segment because country has now opened up for lots of last mile connectivity infrastructure. So entire advisory management with technical and commercial advisory along with the finances of our company is taken care by my colleague Sujit Sujatan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll start with the company presentation.
Manav?
Who's giving the presentation? Is somebody giving? I am unable to hear. Can I?
Manas,
Yeah. As Rajiv has given a detailed introduction about Positron Energy, I will just run you through a very quick presentation. As Rajiv has already pointed out, that we are basically management and technical advisory services. We started off in 2007 as the government's challenge to the industry, wherein the regulations were being enforced, were being drafted, were being slowly but steadily being rolled out in the industry. In 2008, the company came into existence, and we were present in the industry. We were working with various national oil companies and various MNCs, and we took it on ourselves to not only decode the entire regulation but also guide the industry in general as to how to ensure 100% compliance in order to ensure that we are able to meet the directives laid out by the regulator through a variety of regulations that were introduced in 2008. Following that, there were a lot of city gas distribution entities, just which were in 2007-8 there were just about 30-35 odd small entities which were present in the country, which were in the business of selling natural gas and city gas distribution entities, so to say. Government had laid out a detailed plan as to how the city gas distribution licenses would be awarded to various entities. So we went about it. We guided the industry. As Rajiv has pointed out, we have created, we have introduced a lot of large Indian conglomerates to come into city gas distribution business, natural gas business, and supply gas to end users in the country. So that is so far as our this thing is concerned. Then we over the years have primarily focused on city gas distribution across the country. We have developed very strong in-house capabilities, not only in terms of technical advisory and management advisory services, but also in terms of gas sales and aggregation. We kind of understand the consumer needs and we ensure that we go out to his doorsteps and we give him customized solutions. We have also engaged with India Gas Exchange, and we kind of actively trade with as a who is clearing member in the Indian markets, IGX markets. We have certifications of ISO 9001 2015 and ISO 14501 2018. As Rajiv has pointed out, we are doing a volume of roughly around 4 to 5,000 MMBTU per day, and we intend to grow this volume by leaps and bounds over the next couple of years. We have a team size of in excess of 140 engineers, which are spread across the length and breadth of the country, which are servicing a lot of city gas distribution entities who are dealing, handling, and tackling their daily problems and coming out with innovative solutions and helping the industry move forward. We have completed a lot of projects, 20 large projects we have completed. We have an ongoing project order book of about 26 odd projects. Plus, our order book is adding on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. We add a couple of more projects. Typically, our projects last about a year and a half or so. So our order book is always, increasing. We have achieved a CAGR of about 300 odd, 290% odd, plus EBITDA margin of 267%. And we've been steadily but surely growing, and our PAT margins have also grown by 289%. In FY24, our revenue was about 135 crores, and our EBITDA was about 12 odd crores, and PAT was about 8, almost 9 odd crores. So that was the financials for 2024, FY24 financials. And we have given a ROE of 85.48% and ROCE of 61.55%. Next slide. Next slide, madam. Yeah. Um, as has been pointed out earlier, we are into two main categories of businesses. One is management and technical consultancy services, and second is gas aggregation and sales services. In management and technical services, we have further segmented ourselves into management consulting services and technical consulting services. In management consulting services, we help our consumers to understand the gas industry, and we kind of help work with the management to find solutions to various problems, issues that the industry is facing. More often than not, these are problems related to regulation, problems related to expansion of networks. So we kind of work with the management and give them customized solutions. At the same time, we have technical services division, wherein our team works with the clients in terms of developing the project. There are about 300 plus city gas distribution entities uh, going through their process of rolling out infrastructure in the country. Of those 300 plus city gas distribution entities, we are working in a large number of these entities, offering them project management consulting services, EPMC services, operation and maintenance services. So all of this is under the technical consultancy services division. Then we come to gas aggregation. In gas aggregation division, again, we are divided into three small parts. One is gas on wheel solutions, wherein we take the molecule from the wellhead or wherever terminal, LNG terminal, and take it to the consumer and deliver it to them at the flow rates that they need and at the pressure requirements that they have. Then we have LNG distribution, which is the center stage of our business right now. We take LNG, we take domestic gas, we take all kinds of molecules which are available in the country, natural gas molecules are available in the country, and we distribute them across the length and breadth of the country. There has been a significant increase in the pipeline network across the country, and we are leveraging on the fact that newer industries, newer geographies are getting on the pipeline network, and we kind of take our pipe molecules to the consumers, and we are offering customized solutions to the consumer, not only in terms of molecules, but also in terms of various type of contracts that we offer, so that customer can get the most of the molecule that they are using. Apart from that, as Rajiv has pointed out during the initial discussion, we have tied up with ICOM North America for dual fuel solutions. Here we use natural gas, LNG, and we use diesel as a dual mode in order to ensure that the vehicle can use uh, greener LNG, and at the same time diesel is available. And this kind of solution, apart from offering greener alternative to um petrol and diesel, it also gives you um, you know range anxiety can be handled in the sense that even if LNG terminal or molecules are not available for any reason, long distances can be traveled, and God forbid, should the molecule LNG or natural gas is not available, you can use on diesel. So that's another. We've got a couple of approvals from ARAI, and we're in the process of getting some more. So this space is worth watching. Just wait over the next couple of months, as and when the approvals come through, we should be aggressively looking at this space. Next slide, please. Um, I have kind of ventured out in detail in each of these services that we are offering, management consultancy and technical services. Very quickly, if you were to ask me, we are looking at regulatory studies, advisory, licensing, technical feasibility studies, commercial feasibility studies, comprehensive market and opportunity assessment, and we are also looking at advisory services of CBG, compressed biogas molecules across the country. Technical advice services, as I've already explained in detail about PMC, EPMC, O&M services across the sector in the country. Next slide now. I've also taken time out to explain in detail about the gas on wheel solution, as well as natural gas distribution across the country through LNG as well as domestic gas. I'm going to move on to the next slide, please. I think we are already on the next slide. So, in gas on wheel solution, as I told you, gas on wheel solution primarily caters to the requirement of entities or industries which are not on the pipeline network. And pipeline network may take some time, or there is going to be a lag before the pipeline is made available in these regions. So, in order to address this problem, we have developed an innovative solution wherein we take the molecules on wheels, take it to the consumer premises, decompress it, and put it in the uh, consumer network. Similarly, we do a similar option for LNG. Also, we take the liquid, we take it, we regasify it, and we give it to the consumer in his premises. Natural gas. In natural gas distribution, we have a variety of contracts. We have some domestic contracts, we have some international contracts, we have RLNG, we have all the domestic players are giving us gas. We have contracted with them. So based on all the contracts, we devise solutions which are tailor made for the consumers. Based on their specific requirements, we help the industry to move on to natural gas and kind of do away with the polluting fossil fuel and use greener natural gas. So this is another very attractive solution that we have offered to the industry, and this segment is growing at a rapid pace, and the country is also going at a rapid pace, and country is also focusing on increasing the utilization of natural gas in the country. So this segment, this sector is on a fast track. Then of course we have discussed in detail about ICOM North America and our tie-up with them. It's a dual fuel option, and this is again going to be in the transport segment, and this is also going to open floodgates once this product is ready. After the approval, product is of course ready. We are just waiting for some approvals to be provided to us. Once we have the approval, this segment is going to be a very interesting segment. And we are primarily catering to heavy duty vehicles, earth moving equipments, which are basically guzzlers of diesel. So those equipments would be retrofitted with our kit, so that we are able to mix LNG along with diesel and use it for the various applications. This way, we will not only be able to reduce the environmental impact, which will be a much greener fuel, but also show tremendous amount of savings for the entities or the companies which adopt our solution. Can you move on to the next slide, please? We have a very interesting management team. Of course, Dr. Safalta Gupta is the chairman. She is actually a doctor by profession. Rajiv Menon, he is the managing director of the company. He holds a degree from Sardar Patel University. He's got a very illustrious career. He's worked with most of the large national oil companies and private companies and MNCs, and he's a known figure in the industry. Then you have me, of course. I have worked across the India. I've worked in some MNCs before we ventured out into creating Positron Energy. Prior to that, I'm an alumnus of NIT Himachal Pradesh, Hamirpur, and I'm also a MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Management, Pune. Apart from that, we have Mr. Sujit K. Sugatan. He holds the electrical engineering from the illustrious LD College, very near to Ahmedabad, and he also has a MBA in oil and gas management, specifically in oil and gas management from UPS, one of the very good colleges in India. Then we have non-executive director, Mr. Suresh. He also holds a BE in Power Electronics and MBA from ICFAI University. And then we have, of course, Mr. Kothari. He's a bachelor's from Gujarat University. We can move on to the next slide. And Rajiv has actually taken through the entire journey of Positron, but very quickly I will just touch upon the key highlights that we have been through the entire journey. We started off in 2008. In 2008, we formed a company with the objective of providing solutions to the industry and specifically with regards to the regulatory framework which was evolving at that point in time. So slowly but steadily, we went into other forms of business. We diversified into project management, and we kind of work with municipal corporation and develop city gas distribution projects for the entity in Gujarat itself. After that, slowly but steadily, we also ventured into distributing natural gas. We took natural gas from standard fields of ONGC in Jaria, wherein they were not able to monetize these molecules for more than 20 years. So we, through our innovative solution, monetized the molecules, took the molecule from ONGC, took it to Jamshedpur area and supplied gas to a cross section of industries there, wherein we developed a lot of applications. We developed applications for steel industry. We kind of supplied gas molecules to unique applications like lateral heating, blast furnace, and what have you. And in fact, the highlight of the whole thing was one of the largest Indian steel companies used CBM gas in the solution that we offered to fire natural gas CBM into their blast furnace for the first time. So they kind of let go of their 100-year-old blast furnace and they gave it to us and they allowed us to use natural gas in their blast furnace. So that's one of the achievements that we had done. That was recently about in 2022. But apart from that, we've been moving along. We're taking up assignments one by one. We got into a city gas distribution license, then subsequently exited that city gas distribution entity. We have advised a cross section of city gas distribution companies, Indian conglomerates, and we have helped them to come into natural gas business, city gas distribution licenses. Few as Rajiv was pointing out during his initial discussion, one of the largest city gas license holder in the country is our client, and we take pride that we have kind of built this business right from scratch till where they are today. And we kind of added on molecules. Initially from Jaria, we were doing just about 200 odd MMBTU per day. Slowly and steadily in 2023, we increased our presence from 200 to 400 MMBTU per day, then 900 MMBTU per day. And in 2022-23, we took it to almost 4,000 MMBTU per day. So we have been steadily but surely increasing our portfolio. This has given us an opportunity to be in the A league of all the large players. With our expertise and our qualification criteria, we kind of qualify for all the tenders that we have to apply for. And as a result of which, we are rightly poised to increase our market share, both in terms of technical and management advisory services and also in terms of gas aggregation and sales business. While I'm still on this, one small point I'd like to mention here is that in last couple of years, 4-5 years, there has been a significant increase in city gas distribution licenses. More than 300 odd licenses have been awarded in last couple of years. And as a result of that, a lot of PMC, EPMC, O&M services are being requested for in each of these locations. So this area is actually burgeoning with a lot of activity, a lot of action. And as Sujit was pointing out during his initial discussion, this area is kind of exploding, and we are nicely poised to take benefit of this growth in the industry in general. Apart from that, the government also has been focusing on increasing the utilization of natural gas in the country, and as a result of this, they have insisted on putting up large trunk transmission pipelines. Bhuja Ganga pipeline is there. Then the pipelines connecting east to west. Then there are pipelines connecting west to south, and there are also pipelines connecting from west to north, which was probably the oldest pipeline. DVPL HVJ pipeline is probably the oldest pipeline that we have in the country. So now we are consolidating on that, and we are trying to increase the utilization of natural gas. So today, about 98% of the country is covered with pipeline network, and as a result of which, newer industries are trying to move away from the polluting fossil fuel and come into natural gas and use natural gas in their routine businesses and application. Um, as I was mentioning a while ago, we have taken up a variety of project and management consultancy and advisory services. We are working with Mahanagar Gas, MNGL, Thin Gas and its subsidiary companies like Bagpat Green Energy. We are working with Hindustan Petroleum, GAIL Gas, Adani, ATGL, Adani Total Gas Services, Gujarat Gas, Sabarmati. We are working with almost all the large and not so large entities which are operating in this space. Ma'am, can you move on to the next slide? Yeah. So we are working with most of the large city gas distribution entities over the last so many days. So as we move forward, uh, we are also, one of the key this thing for large state OMCs and national OMCs, national oil marketing companies. So we are also working with them aggressively, and we are supplying molecules, and we are also offering our technical and advisory services, management consulting services to each of these entities. So in our presentation, you would see names and ticket size of large companies which we have been servicing over the last couple of years. So we have AGNP, we have MNGL, and we have so many other companies. So my presentation is there with the investors, so that you can very well see where we are. So this is so far as our major management consultancy services are concerned. We have about 26 odd ongoing projects, which have a rough outlay of about 27 odd crores. And over the next couple of years, we plan to further strengthen our technical services management consultancy business, as I just explained to you, and we want to take it further into larger and more number of industries and to city gas distribution entities. So this is so far as the business is concerned. I will just now give you a brief about how the industry in general looks in the country. If you can move to the next slide, ma'am. See, ma'am, can you move on the next slide? Yeah, next slide. I've completed this segment. Yeah. I want industry overview. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah. So, in industry overview, as I was pointing out earlier, natural gas is a transition fuel from polluting conventional crude oil based fuels to greener renewable energy. So, the government, international agencies, everybody has identified natural gas as a transition fuel, less polluting fuel, and this is the fuel which is going to take us into greener future. So, as a result of this, the government and there is a focus on developing infrastructure in order to ensure that larger and more number of entities are seamlessly connected to pipeline network and are able to use natural gas in their routine operations. So there is growth in the infrastructure. City gas distribution entities, as I mentioned earlier, is growing at an exponential rate. Then we also have pipeline network, which is also growing at a very rapid pace. We have Udanga pipeline connecting till far northeast. We have other pipeline network connecting the entire length, breadth, east, west, north, south of the country. As a result of which, all the large industries are connected on pipeline network. Large refineries, fertilizer plants, steel plants, large industrial units in general are all now poised to start utilizing natural gas for their routine applications. And we help these industries in adopting to this greener fuel and help them to mitigate their risks and ensure that they are able to enjoy the benefits of natural gas and increase their greener footprint, if I may say, reduce their carbon footprint. So idea is to have a greener footprint. So that is what we are helping our industries achieve. So now, if you were to look at the industry in general, there are a couple of players who are producing natural gas. The natural gas production is increasing at a rapid rate. Till about 5-6 years back, we were domestic production was minuscule. Now the domestic production has increased significantly, contributing to about 5 to 6% of the total natural gas utilization in the country. Then we have initially we had only 2 terminals which were operating at a reasonable capacity. Today we have more than 6 LNG terminals which are spread across the country, or both on the east coast as well as on the west coast, and which are being utilized with the capacity utilization upwards of 60-70%. So there is a impetus and push towards using greener LNG, and the LNG terminal capacity is also increasing at a rapid rate. PLL has expanded. There are other companies which are present in the country. All of them are in an expansion mode to increase their capacity utilization. Ma'am, can you move on to the next slide? Then natural gas consumption is also increasing at a very rapid pace. Initially, as I told you, natural gas was present only in some parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra, and then some parts of Delhi, Haryana, and some parts in Andhra and maybe Karnataka. So natural gas was not so widely available in the country. The pipeline network was scanty and limited. Today, the pipeline network is available across the length and breadth of the country, as a result of which most of these companies, most of these entities in these areas are able to use natural gas for their operations. So, be it industry, be it a furnace, be it um, a fertilizer plant or a refinery, anybody and everybody is able to use natural gas. And we work with the industry to ensure that they are able to use natural gas and they are able to focus on their core competency of manufacturing their core product. And we are there to take care of everything else, including transportation of gas molecules from the source, be it the LNG terminal, till the burner tip, that is the consumer premises. Um, there has been a significant growth in demand over the last couple of years, and the government has put in a lot of emphasis in terms of growing the industry in general. As I told you, the government has gone on an overdrive to ensure network infrastructure development. Government has developed policy wherein 100% FDI is allowed in segments where natural gas is being used. Then a lot of investments have been plowed in. Government has made transparent bidding criteria wherein entities can bid transparently, and on having won the bids or licenses, they are able to roll out their minimum work program commitments and develop the gas infrastructure and ensure that the industry and the gas molecules are available across the city gas distribution entities. Now, very quickly, next slide, please. Yeah. If you look at the utilization of natural gas, the utilization of natural gas in the industry has been growing at a rapid pace over the last 2-3 years. If you look at the industry in general, it was more or less stagnant at a given level. Then suddenly, as following the recent government initiatives of the government, the utilization of natural gas has increased. Just to put something in perspective, the natural gas was being used at a rate of 165 million standard cubic meters per day till about very recently, 165 million standard cubic meters per day, and now it is around 186 million standard cubic meters per day. So there has been an increase of almost 5% in the last 2-3 years, and this utilization of natural gas is going to increase as we move forward. Now, if you were to look at the entire industry, natural gas is contributing just about 6% in the total energy basket of the country, whereas in developed countries, the contribution is much larger. And the government has set itself a target of increasing this utilization of natural gas from 6% to 15% till 2030, 2030. So, which typically means that we are going to increase the utilization of natural gas by almost doubling the existing consumption. So today it is just about 6%. It's going to become 15%. Not to forget, between now and 2030, the energy utilization by itself is also going to grow, and within the energy mix of the country, the utilization of natural gas is also going to grow significantly. So there is very favorable tail winds for the natural gas utilization in the country, and we are adequately poised to ensure that we are able to ride this wave, not only in terms of management consultancy and advisory services, in terms of PMC, EPMC activities, but also in terms of gas sales and aggregation business. So this sector per se is having the blessings of the government and international players in order to ensure that the utilization of natural gas and the consumption increases multifold over the next couple of years. Now, if we were to go on to the next slide, I'll briefly touch upon the financials, but of course, this is the core competency of our colleague, Mr. Sujit Sotan. Sujit, will you like to take this forward?
Yeah, I will take care from here. Thank you so much, Manav. I think after a very detailed presentation with respect to the business, I am sure all our participants would have very clearly understood as to what Positron's business verticals have been like. Now let's understand about the financials of the company in terms of understanding how we have been performing across various segments. During the presentation, we have understood we are kind of 15 years plus into this particular business. We have grown alongside the industry and the way the entire business verticals have also been developed and evolved over a period of time. So if you look into the revenue breakup that we have just showcased out here, the initial phase, Positron used to have kind of 100% of its revenue coming from management consulting and all kind of technical services. When in financial year 22 we started our gas aggregation business in a stepwise manner, we had a split of roughly around 50-50 kind of, you can see that 50% was coming from the gas molecule sales and the remaining through the services. Slowly and steadily over the last 2-3 years, we have been expanding our gas sales portfolio, as Manav just pointed out. From 300 MMBTU per day, we have scaled up the business in FY23 up to 1000 MMBTU per day. So which helped us in terms of scaling up our revenues. And by FY24, we increased our gas sales portfolio to 4000 to 5000 MMBTU per day. So what does that essentially mean is the revenue split, which was 50-50 between technical services and the gas molecule sales. The gas molecule portfolio has substantially increased, and in FY23 we had around 75% share to 25% for the remaining services. Now we have reached a level where we have 85%, 80 to 85% is now being contributed through the gas aggregation business, and the remaining 10 to 15% we are taking from all the other technical services offerings. So in a nutshell, we have to put it, Positron provides a kind of one-stop solution across the entire value chain of city gas distribution business. That is what is showcased out of the revenue split that we can see, which is substantially increasing across all the segments. But having said that, the gas sales contribution being on a higher side, the breakup looks like 80 to 85% from the gas aggregation business, and the remaining 15 to 20% will continue to remain for the technical services business. Yeah, madam, you can go to the next slide. Looking into the geographical presence that Positron Energy has, as during the initial course of our presentation, we have already mentioned that the industry is witnessing amazing kind of growth across all the regions. When we started off our journey way back in 2008, the presence of gas distribution was only limited to around 25-30 odd locations. From there, we have today licenses awarded across more than 300 locations by the regulatory board in the country. And that means that across all the locations in the country, there are a lot of actions which are going on. So major revenue as on date is certainly coming from Gujarat, which being a very mature market, and Karnataka, where the projects have been very faster pace. So we have been taking it up. but you will witness that our presence is there right from Jammu and Kashmir, Leh, Ladakh till Ramanathapuram in Tamil Nadu. So we are spread all across country uniformly, and we are trying to get the revenue split through several projects across the nation. Next slide, please. Looking to the key financial parameters, as I mentioned about the increase in our gas aggregation business in the last 3 years, we have scaled up from revenue of 8.9 crores in FY22. Now in FY24 we are up to 135 crores. That is prima facie showcasing that we have leveraged our positions in terms of experience with respect to handling the gas molecules, and step by step we have consolidated our position and increased the portfolio of gas within our system. With the kind of top line of 135 crores, we have ensured that the EBITDA margin for the company was around 12 crores, and a PAT margin was also maintained at around 8.78 crores. So basically, looking into the percentage terms, the company is endeavoring in terms of EBITDA margin of roughly around 8 to 10% is what we have been working on, because this is coming from various different business verticals, which very clearly states that all of the business verticals have different kind of EBITDA margins. This is the kind of average that has been taken out across all the business verticals that we are operating. And looking to the PAT margin, again, we have trying to maintain between 6 to 7% is what we have been trying to ensure for the company. Next slide, please. These are the key ratios. So basically, you can see again the return on equity has been on a year-on-year basis. We are on a growing path. From 16%, we have scaled it up to 85%. Overall, just having an understanding, even the return on the capital employed is, in the financial year 24, it is around 61%. The key takeaway out here is, Positron Energy is basically an asset-light model that we are working on, and we are trying to leverage our positions in terms of increasing the working capital limits based on which we are able to aggregate the gas molecules. So that helps us to remain, have the minimal kind of debt that we are utilizing, which helps us in terms of, maintaining a debt to equity ratio of around 0.69. And the debt service that we have undertaken during the last 2 to 3 years has also improved by substantially based on the business growth that we have foreseen from 22 to 24. Next slide, please. These are again the current ratios. If we can directly look into the working capital turnover, in FY24, you can see that it is more than 6 times. So the more the working capital is there with the company, that helps us in terms of enhancing the top line for the company. So that is the key takeaway from the slide, for which we have also come out with an IPO. So we will discuss that in the further slides as well. Next slide, please. So this is the basic P&L. For all the revenues, as we have already discussed, it has been on the growth path. From 8 crores, we have taken it to 134 crores. And the profitability also we have already discussed. But yes, the PAT margins are maintained between 6% to 6.5% is what we are trying to ensure. Next slide. Looking at the balance sheet, Positron has substantially improved its net worth during the last 2 to 3 years based on the scaling of the business that we have undertaken. So we started with FY24 with around 3.5 crore of net worth. We have scaled it up to 14.89 crores as on date. And slowly and steadily, as the business progresses further, we would be further on improvising and making the company further more strong. Next slide. Yeah. So cash flows again very clearly coming out with the kind of business expansion that has happened. The net flows, cash flows have been ensured to be positive all across, and we continue to be in the same business vertical, same business segments, and continue to further strengthen the company in the same line based on the past performance of. Next slide, please. So looking into the competitive edge, Positron has been in across the various verticals. As we have already discussed, this entire business is highly dependent on to the reforms which are coming from the government and the kind of policy framework which are been designed in terms of the gas pricing. And the entire sector is poised to have a growth which is, through the kind of regulatory developments that take place in the country. So we have been leveraging that position and trying to expand and increase our portfolio across both the business verticals, that is technical services as well as the gas aggregation business. And the challenge which are being posed on a routine basis based on the developments across the sector, we are trying to leverage them and trying to get the maximum market share and business for Positron Energy. Again, the experienced leadership and the execution team, as we have already pointed out, we have 100 plus engineers on the ground who have been working on several of our projects, which helps us in terms of the strengthening our position across the entire value chain, providing all the kind of services starting from consulting up to the operation and maintenance value chain. So that helps Positron to leverage the competitive strength and expand its business portfolio further. Next slide, please. Having a quick insight about the SWOT analysis, basically by now we all would have understood, we all the three promoters come from the industry with immense, technical skills and know-how, which has helped us to establish fantastic network within the industry, and we have been leveraging the same. Our technical know-how and all have always strengthened us in terms of the internal resource. We have a fantastic team of engineers who have always provided the strength in terms of venturing into the new business segments across the value chain of oil and gas business. Looking into the weakness, there are, initial phase, it used to be a limited area of operation, but as we have already pointed out, this is already getting converted in terms of a strength, because now the licenses have been awarded across the country. So slowly and steadily, there would be, the presence of city gas distribution would be all across, and that will certainly, be leveraged as an opportunity for us. The opportunities are that we would be having, as we saw the geographical presence across the country today, we have around 300 geographical areas where the licenses have been awarded. Now, each geographical area is constituting roughly around 2 to 3 districts across the various states in the country. So that means that there is huge potential for the geographical growth for Positron Energy in terms of their service portfolio. And once the infrastructure is developed across all the locations, certainly that will be helpful in terms of our gas aggregation business, because that will open up that much of more gas markets for the company. Would be certain threats always in business with respect to some regulatory changes and some policy related changes and all. But we consider that all business have some kind of the risk, and this risk have to be mitigated and converted it to be opportunity. So that's the theme with which Positron has been working, and we will continue to do so to help the company leverage the maximum opportunities coming in front of us. Next slide, please. Okay, so looking at the business strategy, Positron continues to prioritize the high quality standards in consulting services for oil and gas, which it has been doing since the last 15 years. We continue to develop all the new applications, as we are talking about new LNG kit related, dual fuel related developments. We are poised to take up any new challenges that the industry would be coming out with. So new application development remains a part and parcel of Positron's journey. So we will continue to expand our market access based on the infrastructure development that will be witnessed in the sector. And with the kind of regulatory implementation of the infrastructure strategy, the company is poised to grow across the entire value chain in terms of industrial as well as commercial segment with respect to the gas aggregation business as well. So that's how the competitive advantage would be taken through the various business strategies that Positron is proposing to undertake. Next slide. So coming to the key investment rationals, like we are talking about investments in Positron. So we have a very strong market position. We, as I mentioned in the beginning itself, we are India's one and only business development solution providers for the oil and gas sector. When we claim this, we are very unique in our value proposition, because we are providing all the solution that the city gas distribution operator or a gas distribution company would be requiring across the entire value chain, starting from the commercial, technical, as well as the financial. And last but not the least, in terms of the gas aggregation and providing them the gas-based solutions as well. Looking into the other rationals, all three of us promoters, we come from the industry background, and together we have a combined experience of upwards of 45 years plus. So that becomes a big advantage in terms of further enhancing our business prospect within this particular segment. We have a comprehensive offering in terms of the service portfolio. We are poised for the growth, as we already discussed. The sector is witnessing a growth from 6% to 15%. So we would be taking the first mover advantage. In the last 2 to 3 years, we have demonstrated immense growth potential in terms of our revenue profitability as well as our financials, which we already discussed. So we would be further leveraging the same and try to maintain the same kind of momentum for the times to come. So that will certainly help the company to grow stronger, and that is reflected from the various ratios that we look into, the ROE that we are talking about at 85%, ROCE at 61%. So we continue to maintain the same momentum, and we will continue to have the same growth path charted out for the company based on the sectoral growth as well. Next slide, please. Yeah. So coming to the issue highlights, I will request Mr. Gagan to take over from here and give us a detailed explanation about the IPO issue size. Thank you.
Thank you, Sujit ji, and Manav ji and Rajiv ji. Thanks for the input, which is required for any investor to put their hard money. So you have given very good inputs about your company, and just to give you our background. So Beeline is the lead manager to the IPO, and we are the leading merchant banker in the SME IPO space for continuously last 2 years, and we are the merchant banker who single-handedly completed the largest SME IPO in the history of SME exchange. So we are having a good potential investors, and uh, the as you know, the tomorrow the anchor bidding will be there. So we are looking forward for a good names to be there in the part of anchor book. And also talking about my experience working with the company's management, so it was an excellent experience, and also Sujit, Rajiv and Manav, all three partners are very much energetic and always a powerhouse, and their commitment during the whole project, they were very much supportive, and we have come to the final stage, and I definitely feel the company has a potential, and once they will receive the fund from the IPO, there will be many more what you can say achievement from the company side. Just to give you the issue IPO highlights, so issue size is of 51 crore 21 lakh rupees. The price band is between 238 to 250 per share. The lot size is 600 equity share. The issue is opening for the anchor bidding is tomorrow, 9 August 2024, and issue opens on 12th August, and issue closing on 14th August 2024, and the listing for the particular company will be done on 20th August 2024. Talking about the fund utilization, so for it is used for the working capital requirement. So 38 crore 20 lakhs will be used for the working capital requirement, and that will definitely help us to boost the turnover in the coming years. If the funds are properly used, then definitely the company has a the sky is a limit for the growth into this particular sector.
Thank you.
Yes, as I told earlier, the object is for the working capital requirement. That is 38 crore 20 lakhs will be used in the working capital requirement purpose.
Thank you. Now we will start with the Q&A session. I request all the participants to post their questions in the comment box. So first question is from Deepika Chadda. Who are your major clients and what percentage of your revenue do they represent?
Uh, as
So
we
anybody, Sujiji, anybody you can answer from your you three can anybody can answer this question.
Okay, so looking into the major clients for Positron Energy, I would split it between the two business verticals that we are undertaking. So when we talk about the technical services, it is, city gas distribution related operators are our major clients. There you find, on the top names, we have Indian Oil, Adani, with whom we are working. We are working with AGNP, we are working with Think Gas, we are working with Gale Gas, we are working for Gujarat Gas Limited. So you look into all the major kind of city gas distribution operators, somewhere or other, we are kind of associated with them across various projects, across various geography. So that's the kind of business that we are undertaking. And the percentage of revenue, as you have we discussed during the presentation as well, the services that we are offering that contributes around 15 to 20% of the revenue, and remaining is coming from the gas sales and distribution related business. So that's how the revenue split is as of now.
Just to add, Sujiji, so companies are dealing with the all big names who are into oil and gas industry. So all big names in the oil and gas industry are clients of Positron.
Okay. Next question, please. Shrunk the way. Would you need more capex in the future for trucks and compression equipment? How much of the revenues were from the advisory business?
So basically, if you look into the revenues from the advisory business, these are two different questions. I am addressing the one on a continuation basis because the revenue from the advisory business is roughly around 15 to 20%, which I mentioned in the previous question as well. Now, coming back to the first point, would you need more capex in the future for trucks and compression related business? Certainly, yes, because that's a kind of a business. Once the approvals are there, there would be investment in terms of creating a stock for this particular business, and that would be taken care of, based on the kind of alignment of the business, the way the business model would be structured at our end. We would be undertaking that based on the requirement, the way it would be coming up.
Okay. Next question, please. Next question. Rohan Gule. There was a great growth in natural gas revenue. Can you explain how are the margins for this business and future growth prospects?
So basically, there has been a fantastic growth in the natural gas revenues. That is primarily based on years of hard work that Positron Energy's team has actually deployed. We need to really understand and appreciate that. During our initial course of the presentation, we did mention that we were dealing with coal bed methane gas way back in 2008, and we did that business for more than 15 years. So these period we were handling around 300 MMBTU per day kind of molecules, and we have been scaling up the business in the last 3 4 years when the pipeline infrastructure started developing across the country. That opened up the entire business segment for us, and that's how this entire thing happened. Looking into the margins of it, normally any gas sales and distribution is benchmarked with the various alternate fuels that we are replacing from the industrial segment, or we are supplying it to the city gas distribution business operators who are also utilizing it for replacing some of the other alternate fuels. So typically we find that this business has a margin of roughly around 5% to 10% is what normally we find. The spread is basically in terms of the kind of upstream sourcing that we will be undertaking. For different sources of gas, there will be different pricing formulas which are worked out, and based on that, the margins also fluctuate. But typically, we find that it hovers between 5% to 10% is what we have seen.
Generally, just to add on to Sujiji, this industry generally works on the margin which Sujiji told us, that is between 5 to 10%.
Okay. Next question, please. Harsha Joshi. What are the primary business risks you face and how do you mitigate them?
So any business has got the risk, as we were already discussing, there are a lot of regulatory challenges which are posed in front of the sector. So we being a part of this oil and gas sector, certainly yes, any kind of changes in terms of regulatory changes coming in, policy related changes coming in, that all will directly, indirectly have some of the other influence. But we consider that as a challenge. As we mentioned, we are one-stop solution providers for the sector. Any new thing coming in, we consider that as an opportunity, and we try and mitigate it in a more competitive manner and bring it as a business opportunity for the company. But yes, oil and gas sector is per se driven by all policy-related decisions from the government of India, and there are a lot of foresight that the regulatory board as well as the Ministry of Petroleum they put forth in front of the sector in terms of enhancing the share of natural gas in the mix of in our energy mix, wherein by 2030 we are anyways targeting to expand it from 6% to 15%. So that kind of situation do arise, but we mitigate it through our business competence and trying to convert it into kind of opportunities.
Next question, please. Chaitali. What is addressable market? Also, what is your market share?
Okay, so basically, this is a very interesting question. As I mentioned, the entire addressable market is the entire country as on date. Today, we have licenses across more than 300 geographical areas in the country. 98% of the country has been covered with licenses. You have entities who have been given the licenses across 98% of the landscape of our country. So that's the kind of potential that we are sitting in. And most of these licenses have been awarded in the last 2 years. My 2022, most of these licenses were closed. And when the licenses are given, you are given certain minimum work program that has to be committed by each of these entities, and that happens in the next 8 to 10 years of time frame. So the next at least 8 years, we believe that there would be a rapid growth in terms of the market potential that we look into. So the addressable market is the country, and we envisage that the geographical spread that we discussed in our presentation would substantially increase, and our presence would be there across most of the states in the country, and we expand leaps and bounds in terms of the addressable market. Looking to the current market share, it would very clear that we are into various different business segments, and each of the business segment has got different kind of market share. If you look into kind of gas aggregation business, we are a very small players because we are rubbing shoulders with most of the big giant PSUs, oil marketing companies, and private sector giants. So there are very limited few companies like ours who have ventured into this particular field for amount of qualification and things like that. So as we mentioned that we have 15 years of handling natural gas, and that's the reason that we have been in this space and we are leveraging our position. So looking to the market share part of it, certainly with the growth in this particular segment on a annualized basis, we would be growing at a rapid pace with the sectoral growth that would be witnessed in the years to come.
Okay. Next question, please. Siddharth Upadhyay, please give revenues and profit contribution vertical wise.
The revenue as well as the profit contribution, it is going to remain on a similar kind of ratio. Most of the revenue that is coming as on date in the last 3 years, we, as I've already mentioned, we have been on a year-on-year basis, we have been enhancing our portfolio of gas within our, business segments. So the revenue split, if we look into 80 to 85% is coming from natural gas aggregation, and 15 to 20% is what we are now witnessing from all the other businesses segments put together. And if you look into the kind of profitability, already we have mentioned, we are trying to ensure a EBITDA margin of roughly around 8 to 10%, and a PAT of 6 to 7.5% is what we are endeavoring. Now this comes from all the business verticals put together because, as I mentioned, we position ourselves as one-stop solution providers for the segment, and we are, not only involved in one part of the business, we are across the value chain. So that's how we take the business. So split is going to remain the same, and we'll continue to in the same manner for the years to come.
Next question. Sadika Narang, what are your main growth strategies and how do you plan to achieve them?
Okay. So the main growth strategy for the company is directly linked with the sectoral growth. Already we have mentioned about this. The potential is already there, laid out by the government and all the city gas distribution entities who have been received the licenses over the last couple of years. They already have the infrastructure development plan which has been laid out for the next 8 years to 10 years time frame. So that very clearly showcases us that we have a huge potential across the country in terms of taking up the maximum share out of the opportunities which are coming out across all the business verticals that we are operating. So very in a nutshell, the plan for us to achieve is penetrate into each of the business segments with each of the locations and slowly and steadily expand our business reach. Just to put an kind of an example, whenever we enter into any new geography, might be we start off with a PMC related project. Once the PMC related project is successfully executed, we gradually shift to the operation and maintenance related stuff. And with the kind of geographical expansion and the kind of targets for each entities have to meet, obviously the other segments are also opening up for us. So our strategy is to provide the best quality services to each of our clients so that we have deeper penetration across all the business verticals that they offer. And we stand true to our positioning as solution providers for all their needs that are coming up. So that's how we plan to enhance our growth across all the segments.
Next question, please. Siddharth Upadhyay, what are the benefits of ICOM dual fuel systems?
The major benefits of this ICOM dual fuel system is for the transport vehicles, which are going to be on the freeways, highways, and for the commercial buses, which are long haul buses. So any fuel transition always take place between first of a conversion market comes, that is a secondary market after market sales, and then the OEs come into the original manufacturing equipment guys comes into the pure fuel form. So wherein the LNG is been used along with side of diesel with less or no interference with their existing engines, allowing them to use them for a long haul basis, wherein the 50% fuel has been replaced by LNG. As Manav explained that, there is no stoppage for them in the due course of time when they are on the roads. So this is how dual fuel system works, and has been predominantly across the globe practice. Before going into the total LNG fuel trucks or buses, they first aftermarkets get converted, and then in 10-15 years of the time when the entire market takes a good shape and size, then the OE vehicle comes.
Okay. Next question, please. Navya Bhatnagar. Is there any common platform to bid and source requirements of gas molecules?
Yeah. There are multiple avenues of sourcing gas molecules. As I mentioned earlier, also there are a couple of domestic tenders which are uh, which come from time to time during the year, and these tenders are typically for a duration between 6 months to 1 year. And as we have gained qualification over the last couple of years, we qualify for most of these tenders and we are able to participate. So this is one area wherein we kind of source the molecules. Then we also have IGX, which is a gas trading platform, wherein a lot of sellers come with their molecules, and a lot of buyers can actively engage with these sellers and buy the molecules. Then we also have opportunity of going in the market and having bilateral with the cross section of players whoever have got gas availability with them, be it LNG terminals, be it domestic gas molecules, or any other marginal player who may be wanting to sell uh, gas or whatever it is. So I hope I've answered your question. The common platform, in case you are referring to IGX, yes, IGX is a common platform. Apart from that, there are other mechanisms of sourcing molecules as well.
Next question, please. Yogesh, there is a significant growth in revenue from natural segment. What are the margins and future growth strategies and nature of your work would you like to focus?
Um, there has been a significant increase in the revenue as Rajiv and Sujit, both of them in their presentation have mentioned that we have systematically grown from 200 MMBTU to 4,000, 5,000 MMBTU over the last couple of years. And this increase in portfolio, gas molecule portfolio, selling and buying, has led us to increase our top line, the revenues. So, on a go forward basis, we intend to further strengthen our portfolio, and we intend to increase the portfolio, which is roughly around 4,000 to 5,000 MMBTU per day, to couple of multifold and take it to a much higher level. So our future growth, while we work on the existing avenues, we also hope to sign up on larger quantity of gas and reach out to larger consumer cross section of consumers in the country. So our growth strategy is hinged on uh, sales and aggregation business. And of course, not to forget, because of the increase in the national connectivity in technical management, technical services and management consulting services, there is a huge demand, and the growth is going to be exponential in that segment as well.
Okay. Next question, please. Lavanya, how do you plan to communicate and manage investor expectations post IPO?
We intend to focus on our work and let our work do the talking. So we intend to work, build our portfolio, not only in terms of sales and aggregation, but also in terms of management and technical services. And we will, of course, be publishing our numbers on a quarterly basis. and I will we we hope that our numbers will be talking.
Next question, please. Arjun Verma, how do you plan to use the raise from the IPO?
The majority of the proceeds from the IPO is intended for utilization in the working capital for the company. When we talk about the working capital, as we have already been discussing about, enhancing our gas aggregation business portfolio further on, we have to secure gas molecules. So, in order to secure additional molecules, we require kind of guarantees that has to be provided to various suppliers of ours, and that is where we intend to enhance our working capital limits so that we are in a position to have more secure bank guarantees and SBLCs that can be provided to the upstream gas suppliers, and that will help us, enhance our gas aggregation portfolio, and that will help the revenues of the companies to be further on onto the same growth path. So that's how we will be utilizing our majority of the proceeds. And that happens to be around 70-75% of the issue size as of now.
Okay. Next question, please. Anurag Shah, how do you manage gas price fluctuation?
A very interesting question. See, given the geopolitical scenario, the markets tend to fluctuate. Given that there was a Russia-Ukraine war, then there was a Israel-Hamas war, which has led to geopolitical tightening of uh, molecules, and as a result of which the prices tend to increase or drop, either during COVID or the other way around. So geopolitical risks are there, and as a result of this, what we do is that we work actively with our consumers. Our contracts are generally on back-to-back basis, and whatever, God forbid, should there be any adverse impact, we are able to pass it on to the consumer. Notwithstanding that, we are also in regular touch with our consumers. We work with them very closely, and we try and mitigate all the risk to the extent possible, and ensure that our consumer is also um, in position to make the most of the molecules that he is getting, and they are also happy and they enjoy the benefits of natural. So it is a situation wherein we typically pass on the risk, whatever. I mean, our contracts are on back to back. So that way we are able to pass on any price that may come about in the market.
Okay. Next question, please. Raj Gandhi, who are your key competitors in gas aggregation management and consultancy?
In typically in gas aggregation, as Sujit has pointed out during his discussion, um, we we kind of take the molecules from the source through a series of gas transmission agreements, and then we take it to the consumer. We mix all the agreements and we ensure that we are able to give a seamless supply of molecules to the consumer. So we draft synthetic agreements, and we ensure that our consumers' interests are protected, our interests are protected, and overall we are able to ensure that everybody is able to enjoy, take the risk that they are capable of taking. So in that scenario, there are not many players in the market who are in position to offer such comprehensive, solutions to the market. While there are large gas aggregators in the country, you are probably aware of all the national oil companies. You have OMCs. So most of these companies are in gas distribution or gas supply arrangement, wherein they have standard contracts, which is one standard piece of paper, which is taken and given out to all the consumers. So they are not so nimble-footed and they are not so customer-focused, if I may say. But there are large entities which are there in the market, basically national oil companies and PSUs. In management consulting services, as I told you, we are operating in a very niche area of oil and gas, and specifically natural gas. And we have expertise in downstream business. So while there are big four consulting firms which are there in the market who compete with us, but ours is a very niche and a very um, uh, focused area, basically oil and gas, and in oil and gas also natural gas. So there are not many players who are so focused on a niche area like us. In fact, most of these large entities at times collaborate with us to offer specific technical advisory solutions so that they are able to fill the large spectrum of services that they are offering. And we are also kind of so typically, if you ask me, not many competitors, but they are collaborators, so to say. So, so in both the segments, we are there. Then we talk about PMC. In PMC, we typically have local regional players, nothing significant to speak about.
Okay. Next question, please. Yogesh, would there be margin expansion with bigger order? When do we plan to launch ICOM dual fuel system? What is go-to-market strategy for it?
Shall
So
you take
the
that?
yeah margin would be maintained in the same levels with the order of the in terms in tune of the same business mix of 75 to 85% of gas aggregation and balance of our technical advisory business. We plan to launch the dual fuel systems in a couple of months, or as and when we get the final leg of approval from ARI for the same. Maximum approvals we have received. The go-to-market strategy would be definitely create a hub and spoke model for the better reach of the market throughout the country.
Okay. Next question, please. Tarapur, management did a great job with the presentation, clearing up almost all doubts. Things are much clearer for us now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks to the team, really excited about the IPO. All the best.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
I guess we have covered majority of questions. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rajiv sir. Thank you, Manav sir. Thank you, Sujit sir. Thank you, Gagan sir, and thank you, Bhavya sir. All the best for the IPO.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gagan. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.